What's that?
Army consent forms. Sign them and I'm out of here.
I can't do that.
Sign them. Making me wait till I'm 18, you'll never see me again. Sign them.
Dickie, you can hate me all you want, but I'm not signing. I'm not. I'm not signing. You're my son. You're my son.
In New York City, sexually based offenses are considered especially heinous. These are their stories.
Hey guys, welcome to Munch My Benson. My name's Adam. I am coming to you from a quote-unquote luxury apartment on the north side of Beaumont, Texas. Joining me on the line is Josh. How is the North Country, Josh?
It's fine. It was windy today.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Nice.
Yeah.
I had to go on a road trip today. See, so Max, my son, is 7 months old, and starting at 6 months, you're allowed to get him a flu vaccine. And I did it because, you know, obviously I don't want anybody getting sick, but especially not this winter. And so it's a 2-part vaccine for infants. So I got the first dose in Galveston, and the second dose, I was supposed to get it tomorrow in Galveston, but that was going to necessitate me waking up in Beaumont, driving 2 hours, getting the shot, driving back 2 hours, picking up my wife, and then driving back to Galveston. So a total of like 7 hours on the road. And I didn't want to do that. So I found a clinic in Orange, which is only a half-hour drive from here, that would do it. So I drove out to Orange now. Orange is right on the Louisiana-Texas state line. Southeast Texas is different than Austin or Dallas or Houston even. It is different over there. And Orange especially has had major damage from, I believe, Delta, but also possibly Laura. Those were the two major storms that hit, you know, essentially Lake Charles, but I believe Delta was the one that had 100+ mile an hour winds in Southeast Texas over there. And man, there was tons. Like, we're talking big trees down, blue tarps on every other house. There was several houses that were completely destroyed. I saw one. So you know how like billboards have a steel almost frame that they end up putting the billboard on? Well, I saw one that had aluminum that had kind of just been like melted through the steel frame by the wind. So that was pretty wild looking. And then I got to drive over the Rainbow Bridge on the way back quote unquote to home. And there's this gigantic, very narrow, exceedingly steep bridge that goes over the, I guess, I don't know, it's the Sabine River, but the ship channel there, or maybe it's the Neches, I don't know. Anyways, so I had a nice little road trip today. And
one of those streets way east in Texas or in Austin.
Yeah,
downtown.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Way east. So that was kind of fun. It was definitely a different kind of day. But I saw how that corner of the Golden Triangle lives, which is what they call it.
Sure they do.
I also got to drive through Vidor. Didn't get off the road in Vidor.
No, don't.
Well,
ever.
I mean, it's this whole corner of the world's kind of hard luck, but definitely that part is especially hard luck. So you been up to anything, Josh? Been rambling.
We just watched the Netflix Night Stalker 4-part documentary.
Not Kolchak, the Night Stalker.
No, Richard Ramirez. The Night Stalker.
Oh, nice, cool. I watched a pretty good movie the other day. I watched Stromboli, the the Ingrid Bergman star vehicle, the Roberto Rossellini film, where she's basically a Jewish refugee who's wound up in a camp in Italy, and she falls in, a Italian soldier falls in love with her, and she's trying to get papers to go to Argentina, and that falls through, so she agrees to marry him, and he lives on this tiny volcanic island. And she's like, all right, whatever. And she goes there, and she ends up being incredibly depressed because it's a very small, treeless hellscape of a rock where the volcano erupts all the time, and all the old ladies are very traditional, and she kind of loses her mind. But it's kind of mixed, I would say, because some of it is uneven, but there's some incredible sequences. There's this one where the guys go out fishing for tuna, and it's, one of the coolest sequences I've ever seen. They're doing like seine netting, traditional tuna fishing, and these guys are literally hauling in these like 700-pound tuna just over and over and over again. It's a wild sequence. So I recommend it for that, if not for the whole shebang.
What's the platform it's on right now?
It is available for rent from the Rosenberg Public Library, which is where we got it.
Great. I guess if you're listening and you really want to watch it, just look it up on Just Watch.
I'm sure it's out there somewhere. I'm not 100% certain though.
Yeah, because I don't think it's currently on Criterion at the very least. But.
I'm sure it has been though. It's definitely a classic film.
Yeah.
I believe it's where Bergman and Rossellini got together.
I was going to ask that.
Produced Isabella. So
right.
Yeah. But should we do this? We've got a lay it in on thick with the plot episode to get to today, don't we? So
we do, sadly.
Yeah, it is called Turmoil. Let me just get all my ducks in order that I was supposed to earlier. It's Turmoil. It is season 11, episode 8, and boy, oh boy, are we going to get to learn about the Stablers. So I'll do the recap. Even though they don't see eye to eye on the choice of friends, websites, or future careers, Elliot Stabler and son Dickie both agree that one should never, ever drink a breakfast beverage out of a cup. Dickie also happens to have a fair amount of information pertaining to a rape case that Elliot is investigating, which is tying the Manhattan DA's office up in knots. See, our victim in the rape case, Nikki Sherman, said one thing to SVU, but apparently said another thing to some random friend whose rumors and innuendos made it through the Catholic school circuit in Queens, past the accused defense, and all the way to the New York State Bar Review Board, who are now out for ADA Alexandra Cabot's blood. Now, Elliot had neglected to turn on his cell phone after the day's court proceedings, so Cragen has to field the presumably frantic phone call from Kathy Stabler with some bad news. Dickie is missing. Did I mention that Elliot hates Dickie's friend Shane? Well, he does, with a passion. He also assumes that Dickie must be out carousing with his ne'er-do-well bud, so Elliot takes a trip over to Shane's mom's house to lay on a serious guilt trip about how fucked up her kid is. She viciously hits back at Elliot with the news that no one outside of the Stabler household calls Dickie Dickie. In fact, he's Richard now, apparently. Maybe Dick. It kind of goes back and forth. Anyways, in one of the least probable exposition dumps in a series full of improbable exposition dumps, we are led to believe that Dickie left school after a fight over a digital video recorder that Shane sold to another student with the intent of using the proceeds to join the army, which, by the way, is free to join. And though Elliot has the entire squad working an off-the-books missing persons case on his behalf, he is also screwing up their primary case, since he's now withheld evidence in the form of knowledge of some racy photos that might derail Cabot's case against Nikki Sherman's rapist. This has Cabot understandably incensed, But still, it seems as if everyone's day job is going to be put on hold while SVU figures out where Dickie's been this afternoon. Shane's impounded car leads Finn and Benson to a homeless shelter in Harlem, where they discover that Shane had shown a liking to one particularly down-on-his-luck hobo named Harold. Moments later, Dickie is found beating the fuck out of Harold in an unsuccessful attempt to track down his friend. Now, later, Shane's cell phone is found. However, it is in the possession of an uncooperative drug dealer locked up in central booking. Meanwhile, things aren't going well for Cabot. The SVU squad thinks she's putting her own career ahead of the various victims. The state bar thinks she's withholding evidence. And even disgraced ADA Sonia Paxton thinks she needs to get her shit together. As a result, Cabot dropped the rape charges against Sam Baylor, Nikki Sherman's assailant. Sherman herself is distraught. Cragen is relieved of duty pending an investigation, and Munch is put in charge of the unit. As if things weren't careening out of control enough, though, Shane Newsom's naked, crumpled corpse is discovered in an alleyway. Finn then apprehends Shane's killer, who happens to be that hobo Harold. Nikki attempts suicide. Elliot has to break the bad news to Mrs. Newsom. Olivia gets the recantation witness to herself recant. Cabot threatens a high school boy with prison rape. The Stabler boys hug it out a lot, like a lot, and we are left with the only thing worse than cops, our troops, Dick Wolf. Rambling, I know, but shitload of plot.
And I would posit that the episode's plot was rambling.
The more, as I was watching the second, I was like, well, how did they jump in over there? What's going on?
It's
not
this like any complaints we've had about Amaro family plot episodes.
Nothing compared
to how fucking interminable this one was.
This was awful. Just awful. And I don't know, I feel bad because, I really paint the Amaro and Rollins era with this like brush of laying it on so thick.
To be fair, when we fucking get to a goddamn Rollins' sister episode, it's going to be worse. It will actually be worse than this. But
this is just so it's like sophomoric. They didn't even take go through the due diligence of putting together a plot that made sense. And they had to like shoehorn Elliot's totally off the books investigation into this other investigation that could have been an episode in its own right. There could have been 2 episodes here that didn't need to intersect in any way. And both of them have this kind of like unrealistic problem that could befall Cabot and Elliot, neither one of which is fleshed out enough to really give a shit too much about.
It almost feels like what happened was that they had booked all the actors for 2 episodes and then they got the order cut by one. And then they're like, well, we already booked everybody. They're under contract, so we better fucking slam 2 episodes together. Oh God. And then just like let Ginsburg just cut out pages whenever the fuck he wanted. And then they end up with this naked lunch style just incomprehensible like mass of episode.
I mean, like the whole sections, like the State Bar Review Board. Who cares? Why did that have to be there? You could have had.
Well, I mean, it's there because they're still in the wake of the Sonia Paxton shit. But that's why it's there. But it's dumb.
It's dumb, and like the Sonia Paxton bit didn't need to be there either because that was also dumb and just taking away time from. Really 2 storylines that needed to be fleshed out a little bit more to make any kind of fucking sense. Like spatially, like why do Dickie and Shane have the fucking victim's cell phone, the racy pic on their phone? She's presumably in Manhattan or else SVU wouldn't be investigating it.
Correct.
And so I just don't get it anyways.
All right, so should we dive into guest stars?
Yeah, let's start there.
We haven't really dug into Dickie.
No, Jeffrey Scaparrotta. He's Dickie throughout the whole series. Or at
This
least
is his last of 17 appearances as Dickie Stabler, spanning from season 1 to this one in season 11.
Yeah. Hasn't really done too much since then, but before then, he was in a fairly notable role. He was Tom Hanks's kid in You've Got Mail, which we've brought up before.
You guys couldn't... No, he's not Tom Hanks's kid.
Yeah.
He's his 4-year-old half-brother.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen
long.
the movie.
Yeah.
But he's his half-brother.
Oh, I just saw that he had the same last name, and I couldn't remember all the deets.
Yeah.
That's right.
He also now looks really a lot like... I saw stills from an interview he did about like 20 years after the release of You Got Mail.
Uh-huh.
And I saw stills from that, and he looks a lot like Andrew King now.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
what I thought was interesting is that, I guess that was in 2009. In 2009, I could believe that he was Maloney's kid. Like, they have similar facial features, but they added him to the show when he was only, he started in 1999, so he was only 6 years old. So that was kind of impressive.
Casting.
Yeah. All right. I guess.
Yeah.
Who you want to go to next?
I assume we both did a deep dive on Shauna Dowdeswell.
Sure, yeah, we did. Now, we have seen Shauna Dowdeswell before, but neither one of us dove into her the first time. She was the kind of main character victim's brief lesbian fling in Hooked.
Yes.
The Hayden Panettiere episode where Shannon Dowdeswell was one of the few characters that did not contract AIDS from their hijinks.
From their dalliances.
Yeah, exactly.
And so that's still the highest ranking or highest scorer in our ranking system that we've covered. And that was back in Munch My Benson 16. The Birmingham callback is too mundane.
Yes. But yeah, I guess we got to get to it.
She was also in a two-part. Well, she was in a two-part CI. She was in an episode of the original series. She was also Ruth in Noah Baumbach's Mistress America, and had a supporting role in The Winning Season with Sam Rockwell, Rob Corddry, and Emma Roberts, alongside Munch alum Connor Paolo.
Now, sadly for her and for the rest of us, her career was cut short. In 2012, she passed away at the age of 23 years old. In fairly kind of tragic circumstances. Apparently, it was from chronic alcohol abuse, which is just fucked, man. She's originally... Oh, go ahead.
3 years after this episode was shot.
Yeah.
She had several shots of whiskey over 2.5 hour period at a bar called The Basement on Mott Street in Chinatown.
Yeah.
She stumbled home, but didn't make it past her parents' doorstep before passing out, and a dog walker found her the next morning. She was rushed off to Beth Israel, where her BAC hours later was determined to be 0.39,
which is a lot.
Yeah, to which an ER doctor reportedly told her mother, "I don't even understand the blood alcohol level here."
Yeah.
For a sense of scope, she was 5'2" and 115 pounds.
Yeah.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration data, for a 120-pound woman to have a BAC that high, she'd have to have had 10 drinks in an hour. Mm-hmm. And at that rate, breathing and heart rate can be impaired. So her death was ruled a natural death due to complications of acute and chronic alcoholism, which at 23
is some fucked up shit.
Yeah. Like, apparently she'd been drinking, or like she'd been going to bars in the neighborhood for years, like since she was a teen. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. That's wild. Let's
just say that I've had a lot of drinks in my life, Josh, and
yes,
I have not come close to. It's impressive how many drinks she must have been drinking every fucking night to have that happen at 23 years old.
Right.
And it's sad.
And I mean, to get your BAC to 0.39 is nuts.
It's insane. And you have to assume she probably didn't die immediately after she left the bar.
I mean, that was, so the dog walker found her in the morning. She passed out at the stoop of her parents' And I think she had left the bar at like 2 or 2:30.
Yeah.
So this was the next morning. So it's hours later.
I mean, it's possible she had stopped breathing at that point, or her heart stopped by that point, and they didn't pronounce her until she
they
got
rushed
to the
her
hospital.
to the ER. They rushed her to the ER at Beth Israel. So I'm assuming.
But they might not. They might have just waited to pronounce her. And I don't know. It's hard to say. But still, you know, I don't want to bring it up because this is very sad. But there was that Lithuanian truck driver who blew like a .45.
Was he Lithuanian or Bratislavan? Or was it in Bratislava, but he was Lithuanian?
I thought he was Lithuanian. I thought he was, you know, a Baltic of some persuasion. But he blew like a .47, and he was driving.
No, he blew up. It was a point. I believe it's a .73.
Oh my God, he was driving.
He was driving. It was so high. He was driving the wrong way on the highway though.
But a truck, an 18-wheeler.
Yeah, a truck. Yeah, he was so drunk that they when they pulled him over, the cops were like, "What the fuck? Our breathalyzer's broken."
Yeah.
Our breathalyzer's broken, and so they brought him. They brought him into the hospital
to do a blood test.
And it was still like 0.7. Like I think it was 0.73 the first time, and .69 or 70 the second time. And they're like, "Oh no, our shit wasn't broken."
Anyways, very sad. I mean, it's too bad because she could have been really good in this episode if they gave her a little bit more. I think she was totally fine.
Her scene on the sidewalk with Cabot was really good.
Yeah, absolutely. And they kind of stuck her. I feel bad for her because they stuck her into this really shitty Dickie episode, and that sucks. And she didn't get a chance to do that many more parts, right. And that's but really
she did
sad.
Land that Noah Baumbach movie, so
yeah, no, exactly, that's a good one. I guess I will talk about Josh Page because since I looked him up, you have to hear about it. So
I also looked him up, and I was not expecting this.
So he doesn't have too many acting credits, but he did make it to the season 8 finale of America's Got Talent as a part of a operatic trio called Forte.
Operatic pop trio.
Yes.
Let's get our subgenres straight.
So he has since gone on to tour the world as part of Forte, and I will be forced to include some clips in there.
But yes, he's an operatic tenor.
Yeah. He sure is. I thought he was pretty good at this,
I really was not expecting that. Yeah, he was actually okay. You know, he's not in it much because he dies pretty much very early on. Well, very early on in the actual time of the episode.
Yeah.
They don't find him for a while.
I guess we should talk about his murderer, Harold, played by Rob Campbell, who was in the band in Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Yes, he was.
And was also a reverend in The Crucible, which I have not seen in a really long time.
Yeah, he had bit parts in Unforgiven, Boys Don't Cry, Admission, and Winter's Tale. Chris Chalk, who's playing Neil Douglas, the dealer who has Shane's phone. Mm-hmm. This is his second appearance on SVU. He first showed up in the Judd Hirsch episode from season 4 called Mercy.
Can't wait
he was
for that.
also Paul Drake in this newest in the new incarnation of Perry Mason.
Yep.
And he was Yusuf Salam in Ava DuVernay's Central Park 5 series on Netflix, When They See Us.
Yeah. Lucius Fox in Gotham.
Yeah. Gary Cooper in Newsroom.
Yeah, he has definitely had the best career post this episode of any of the guests by far. 12 Years a Slave.
It's mostly big TV parts, but yeah, he was in 12 Years a Slave, Detroit, and Before the Devil Knows You're Dead.
Yeah, so a lot of good stuff. Newsroom, I mean, he's been in a shitload of big shows.
2 episodes of Justified as Jody Adair.
Let's see. Who else do we have?
We've got Robert Gorey, who plays Sam Baylor, Nikki Sherman's rapist. Mm-hmm. He was Matthew Buchanan in 40 episodes of One Life to Live, and Nate Bradley in 14 episodes of As the World Turns.
Nice.
He tweets and retweets a fair amount about the New York Film Academy, which made me look him up, and it looks like he worked in admissions there for about 5 years. Now he's at AMDA in enrollment. So, yep. And I believe he just got married.
Nice. I guess, what you call him, the bar review board guy, played by Eric Martin Brown. He was in First Wives Club and a bunch of other random shit. The one thing I had to look up was a film that he's supposedly known for called Found in Time, which was from 2012. It is said to be a sci-fi thriller. And it really looks to me, after watching the trailer, that the trailer looks like a joke trailer on Mr. Show. It's like every single time travel kind of like cliche wrapped up into one thing with people screaming and terrible acting. It looks fun. I really want to watch it, but it doesn't look well made.
And then I think lastly, at least for me, I don't have anyone else, but Christine Lottie, we should just touch base on her again. Mm-hmm. If the listeners didn't listen to the last time we had her on an Unstable, which was episode 30, we don't even care about the teenage orgy. Mm-hmm. She is playing Sonia Paxton, who is now fully disgraced, blowing Scotch breath in the judge's face in Hammered, which was episode 4 from season 11. She was in Chicago Hope. She was in Running on Empty, Housekeeping, Swing Shift. She won an Oscar for directing a short, Lieberman in Love, which is based on a W.P. Kinsella story, which he did not know had been adapted until he was watching her win at the Oscars with the source material that he had written.
Weird.
Yeah. So I found that out this time. So
I guess I've got one more.
Okay.
Cindy Katz, who played Shane's mom. She's been in a lot of stuff. She was in Frances Ha and Age of Innocence, mostly bit parts, but she was also in Heat. She's been in 4 episodes of SVU. This being the second to last one. She shows up again in 2013 in American Tragedy, but as early as 2004. So she's been around too, and it made me go down a Heat rabbit hole, just kind of wasting time while I was supposed to be working on this show. So,
yeah.
So
I went down a hooked rabbit hole just to establish which one Nikki was, or which one Shauna Lowndes. Shauna Dowdeswell, yeah.
Yeah, it took me a while to remember exactly who she was, but then it came to me in a vision.
I figured she was too young to also be a porn star, along with a 15-year-old porn star, Lisa.
Yeah, no, I remember there was that one. Yeah, Lisa, exactly. But Shanna Dowdeswell has a very distinctive face, and it came back to me. So let's go through our episode notes, Josh, because I think we might be able to get out of this one kind of in record time for us.
Oh, yeah, well, this isn't going to be shorter than we're already almost as long as that one fucking episode.
Yeah, that was.
But yeah, we do not. I don't have a lot of notes on this episode because this episode's not fun.
For the locations, I wrote, "Don't care," but. No, just kidding. No, the one thing is that the homeless shelter in Harlem, it's a minimum 30-minute drive from where Shane's house is. And I'd think that he'd be able to volunteer at a homeless shelter a little bit closer to home in Queens. They live out in like Flushing, basically, because that address is marked there. And it's just like, it's a long fucking drive. The toll to go over the Triborough Bridge is like $14. And so he's got to be really committed to that shelter. It's like an hour and a half by train, so that's the only way you could do it is drive. And I guess he had a car, so that was established.
Okay, so Shane says when Elliot's asking how he got the picture of Nikki, he said, "I don't know. It was viraled out to hundreds of kids."
Yeah,
sir. My immediate response to this is viraled out.
I've never heard that usage before.
That is not how it has ever been said.
So I
even looked it up. I even went I even checked maybe I'm just old and or like Urban Dictionary. Maybe they have no.
Viral's never been a verb.
No. Birmingham callback is, but viraled is not a verb like this. So even with Cabot, when we're in the courtroom in the cold open, it's cause for alarm. Like that is run for the fucking hills. You do not want to see the court in the cold open.
No, yeah, absolutely. Never. You never do. And unless they're coming up with a really nifty way to get it away from the courtroom quickly, you never want to see that. And you especially never want to see like somebody from the state coming to investigate one of the ADAs. That is a terrible sign.
No, you don't want to be mired in a bureaucratic nightmare for fucking 42 minutes.
I honestly think that a lot of times when they start these cases, in media res, they usually don't do a very good job of it, right? So they're starting this in the middle of this Shannon Dowdeswell case, and they're just doing that. I honestly don't even know why they're doing that. They're doing that to sew up the Sonia Paxton storyline, and it just doesn't work. And it's very
only
annoying.
Not really, because she shows up like 4 times after this, but
yeah. Honestly, it was very confusing to me because I assumed because Shane and Dickie were aware of Nikki's, escapades, that she must have been in Queens, or at least like somehow like close to them. Like, I don't know I grew up in Austin. I went to high school in Austin. It's like, I might have known a couple kids from the other high schools, but I didn't know all the gossip on, kids across town, much less like Austin is not a city of 8 million people, so like it seems just a little unbelievable to me, even if it had been viral all the way out to them.
I suppose with social media though, and like, we were definitely in school before everyone was taking pictures and video all the time.
Sure.
Documenting everything.
Yeah.
So I'd imagine the landscape has sort of changed, but
I believe that. So, but for me, that was very confusing. It took me a while to actually kind of come to terms with that, because it's, we got Queens people going back and forth. Anyways, there was a few lines that I that I enjoyed. Not because they make sense or because they're particularly funny, but just like collateral damage is like Jell-O. There's always room for more. Who says that? What does that mean?
I honestly, like, I'm just scanning my notes right now. And I think I had one pull quote from this entire episode.
That was one. And then the other one I have is, Benson, it's kind of talking about the alleged assault, says, "I can assure you that no girl wants her first sexual experience to be next to a toilet." To which I said,
yeah.
But her second is fine? But, okay, so we're led to believe in the course of an afternoon, I have a big timeline issue with this.
Well, no. It's not over the course of an afternoon. Dickie doesn't show up until the second day. But in the course of one afternoon, Dickie gets into a fight, leaves school, at which point Kathy is informed about his truancy. So it has to be some time has passed so that they know that Dickie is truant. She then they know that Dickie was truant because he got into a fight at school and then took off.
Okay.
So, like, there would have been disciplinary, like, I'd imagine that would raise a red flag right away versus...
Possibly. Sure. Anyways, but it's still, enough time has passed that Kathy decides to call Queens Missing Persons. And Queens Missing Persons, which we've already talked about how missing persons cases work. Basically, if they are young children or elderly... the police spring into action quickly, at least in New York City. I haven't looked at every place. If they are teenagers or young adults, it takes a while, or there needs to be ample evidence that a crime has been committed for that kind of action to take place. Still, anyways, she is called Missing Persons. Missing Persons has sent a detective out to interview her. Elliot is able to drive home from Lower Manhattan to Queens, which is a half an hour plus drive. He then drives to another location in Queens, gets in a kind of an argument with a mom, and then drives all the way back to Manhattan. And the school day isn't even over yet. He's gone on
I bet he was spinning the, like, cherry you put on top of the car. I bet he was spinning that the whole way to and from work.
I mean, it's possible, but still, like, we're talking, like, at hours of driving, plus, like, fights, getting like.
I mean, he's clearly doing
involved.
he's doing such shitty police work here that it's not out of the realm of possibility that he would be just rolling with the cherries, just spinning the whole.
But in so many other episodes of this, Benson would say, "Elliot, go home, deal with this. I got this. I can deal with the court. Whatever."
Yeah.
Like so many times we've seen them deal with that, but not in this one. All right, so I had that. Let's see what else.
So I was like, love that Stabler's going after Shane, with his mom.
Yeah.
This is clearly going to be a Stabler's a shitty cop when he's got family blinders on episode.
Mm-hmm.
Also, clearly not a great dad because Dickie's a fucking Richard.
Yeah, he's a Richard. He's a Richard, and B, like, Shane, regardless of whether he wears a dumb Rasta hat or not, he's actually seems to have his shit together. And if Elliot was like, could take his head out of his
being
ass,
in recovery,
but whatever. If you take his head out of his ass for a minute, he'd realize that maybe his kid Dickie is a good influence on this kid. And Elliot's seen many, people with problems be redeemed through the course of his career. Maybe he can extend that courtesy to his, son's, his like almost adult son's friend.
Best friend.
Yeah, exactly. His best friend. The only friend he'll hang out with him because his dad's a cop.
Right. And like Stabler's spidey sense is going off on Shane, but it's dead fucking wrong and it gets the kid killed.
Yeah, absolutely. He should feel like an asshole for that.
More than an asshole.
Yeah. All right.
So the point at which Elliot's butting heads with a recruiter is the point at which I knew this was going to be like really rough and it would yield almost no notes.
I really appreciated how anti-military this entire episode was. I've hardly ever seen anything as anti-troops as this episode. Like Elliot and Dickie get into a cry fest because Dickie almost joins the military.
Well, this is Dickie's last appearance, so I suspect that he must, right?
I mean, I just don't think it comes up again.
No, I bet. I think he must have to. He goes in the military, I'm sure. Anyways, we'll find out when Elliot returns. They were just shooting that episode.
Probably has a prosthetic dick because it got blown off in Afghanistan or something.
Well, I think Dickie dies, and that's sort of what brings Elliot back. Whatever. That's speculation. That's speculation, though. So,
Jesus Christ! I mean, we get the obligatory when we see Shane's destroyed corpse. We get the obligatory Warner note. Actually, I forget who asked. Any sign of a sexual assault? And she says, not from my external exam. I didn't see any sign of fluids or blood seepage. And what is meant by blood seepage? I didn't
out of his ass.
I know, but why?
No, that's what's meant.
I know. Why did they have to make me think about that?
Oh no, you need to establish that. And you're also seeing Shane dead on the ground in the alley, like naked from the sternum up. I mean, and you're told he's naked. Mm-hmm. Of course, then Warner gets him back to the morgue, and she does the autopsy, and he was clean for months. Stabler was dead wrong. Pun intended.
There was no reason for Harold to strip him of his clothes except for them to have a red herring with it potential sexual assault. That was the only point of that. But it's resolved
so quickly that it's not even a red herring. It's like a fucking, I don't know, some other.
Just throwing a plot line dart at the wall and then changing course almost immediately.
Well, I suppose when you're as broken as you'd have to be writing the show, you're just going to default like it's rote, going to the darkest, most depraved sexual place.
Yeah. it's where you live, basically.
Yeah.
Now, I thought it was funny when Cragen is getting escorted out of his office because he's getting suspended, and somebody asks, how long is suspension this time? And Munch replies, 10 days, and there won't be a next time. If Captain gets jammed again, they'll show him the door. He gets jammed.
And we've seen Rhodium Nights.
Yeah, we have. He gets jammed so many more times, at least once a season. And one time he wakes up with a dead prostitute next to him.
Yeah.
And he comes back to the unit. But maybe this is why he never gets above captain's pay, right? He didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't get to retire a major or anything.
We've also, I suppose, so we've talked about Shane being naked in an alleyway. We're seeing him from the sternum up.
Mm-hmm.
We've also got another situation of a character who's a minor being sexualized.
Yeah.
The character is a minor here. Shauna's at least 19. So
19 or 20. I didn't. Yeah, I didn't do the exact math, but still.
Right.
Also, like, such a funny photo because so she's supposed to be on Rohypnol, and you know, I wouldn't not say I've never experienced Rohypnol myself, but what I anecdotally understand is that it leaves you pretty drowsy and not in the best shape. But she's just like tiptoeing on a chair, smiling for all the world to see.
And I mean, we had another insane second unit photo shoot that likely needed pasties.
Oh yeah,
this is nuts.
all like the high school boys cackling below. Wild shit. Wild. They, second unit
on this show has to be the most insane job. You're always doing batshit crazy stuff on the second unit on this. More often than not, you're sexualizing a minor while doing so.
I'm a little surprised they name dropped Girls Gone Wild in this one because I figured that that's exactly the sort of thing that they would. Come up with a clever name where you know what they're talking about, but they're not actually talking about that. Because, again, you're kind of giving them free advertising. And in the same breath, you're talking about how it's not, the most above board place in the world.
And do you really want to be funneling more money into that dickhead Franklin's bank account?
Yeah, exactly. That's legitimately unethical pornography right there.
Oh no, they get him to sign drunken waivers.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. Last thing I have is who is prescribing a high school girl enough Vicodin to commit suicide with? Because the pill bottle is clearly written out in her name. It says oxycodone, but that's the generic name of Vicodin. I'm assuming what that is. Now, generally speaking, somebody who overdoses on opiates is not who you want to be giving mouth-to-mouth to. Typically, what you're doing is just compressions because the problem is that their breathing stops. And breathing into their mouth is not necessarily going to just jumpstart their airway. What it will do is get a lot of their vomit on you, which is generally what you don't want to do if you're a first responder. You don't want to in turn become another victim. So typically you just want to keep those compressions going, break her ribs a little bit, but also, so we were just talking about this when Kragan rushed into, I forget which episode, was that the last one we watched? Kragan rushed in.
It was one of the last two.
Shouting at a cop to,
to somebody call a bus.
Yeah. Well, this was a situation where Benson was in a different apartment, but maybe within shouting distance of that woman who
the lady had just let her into the apartment.
Yeah,
so
but
I assume that at least in this situation she's calling to the one person.
Yeah, but that would make more sense. Hey, you call the ambulance. You might not be aware of this situation, but this is what I'm trained for. Blah blah blah. Right. Anyways, slight nitpick. Really, I only have one more thing.
I have a couple more. So the blood on the phone is Shane's. This is the moment Elliot figures out his tunnel vision killed a kid who happened to be his kid's best friend.
Yeah.
Then I've got, Benson putting in a formal request for a new ADA. Does this mean that she and Cabot broke up?
I know, right? Where is their relationship at this point?
I'm mourning the loss of that relationship right now.
Yeah, it's sad.
Okay, so didn't Ronald Moore feel like he was channeling Jerry Lewis? Like in the episode where he's Munch's uncle?
Yeah.
The whole time I'm watching him, I'm just like, oh, fuck, this is just Jerry Lewis 2.0.
Mm-hmm. But he went from mumbling simpleton to over-the-top crazy guy in a moment's notice. It was quite a performance.
Also, his bottle recycling economic rant was really dumb.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
I do love that Finn just tosses him like a fucking sack of potatoes.
I totally didn't watch it the second time, but the first time I was laughing about that. He's like, I demand redemption or something like that.
It's so dumb.
I'll
It's so
include that
dumb.
line because it's
Yeah,
one of the
yeah,
fun,
for sure.
the only fun things in this whole episode.
So why'd you kill him, Harold?
Well, it was the bottles. Times are hard. Nobody throws bottles away anymore. They just take them in themselves. How can I survive without redemption?
Survive for what? Loser like you ain't got nothing to live for. Unlike the kids you snuffed, Shane had a future.
Back to the mouth to mouth. Liv finds Nikki and gives her some hot mouth to mouth, but the chest compressions could have been A, hotter, and B, done on the sternum where it should have been and would have coincidentally been hotter.
So, you know what? There was quite a bit of, I guess, homoerotic fan service in this one between Liv giving mouth to Nikki Sherman and, Elliot and Dickie giving that really, really overwrought, teary hug at the end.
Oh, yeah. Well, and if you're really into homoerotic wrestling, you get that with Finn and Ronald.
Yeah, Finn and Ronald. And also with fucking Harold. And
sorry, Ronald is that his real name?
I think so. I don't even fucking
Oh, no, it's Rob.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's Rob.
sorry.
Rob
It's
Campbell.
Harold,
Yeah. But then also Dickie and Harold. That was more kind of your extreme fighting.
That was more like what we saw back in Pretend.
Yes, exactly. But I mean, that was pretty brutal. Like he swung that 2x4 hard.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all to know that Harold Moore had a background as a underground wrestler.
Yeah.
He fought Mickey Rourke. My last note is shithead Sam Baylor has a shitheadier defense attorney. That doesn't mean Cabot can't hang the prospect of future rapings on the rag in the pen over Sam Baylor's head. Cue prison rape package.
Make me an offer.
No.
Are you really going to put a suicidal teenager through a rape trial?
All Nikki Sherman wanted was her day in court, and I intend to see she gets it.
What's that mean?
It means you're going to prison, and you're going to find out exactly how Nikki felt when you raped her on the bathroom floor.
Yeah, one of the most extreme prison rape alarms that we've heard thus far.
I have one more note here that's more like broad. So we've hinted that this is a shortcoming of ours that we need to address, but this one makes it clear that we need to have a character tally going to keep track of who the main characters have maimed, killed, or indirectly killed due to incompetence. I think it's very fair to say that Shane is dead because Stabler was too quick to place the blame for Dickie being missing on Shane. Stabler blames himself. We can too. I'm going to go back and actually watch the 40 episodes that we've done already.
I'm thinking about it, or at least maybe we can just like split them up and like speed watch to see where there's murders, because this is a tally that needs to happen. I think it's an important thing. Now, in this one,
it is, and we'll update everybody when we're caught up, and it'll probably be around by episode 50, I'd imagine.
There's a one apparent Stabler body in this one. There's kind of like 3 other maybe potentially implied ones. So Nikki Sherman, I guess she survived, but she damn well killed herself and probably might have a lifetime of fucking pain and suffering because of Stabler's incompetence.
For sure.
Harold Moore might have gotten a broken rib, which punctured his lung, which would eventually fill with blood, and he'll die in the pens waiting to be processed because of Stabler's incompetence.
But he murdered someone, so I don't really care about that one.
But I'm just chalking up Stabler's body count here.
This is like I'd say 2.5 here.
Yeah, and then Dickie probably, he's probably been inserted into a black op in Somalia or something, and he died in an Al-Shabaab raid.
Yeah, totally.
And he was probably buried at sea, and they can't even, release his data after that. It's fucking terrible, man.
Yeah, let's fucking get to this.
Yeah, we don't need to dilly-dally. We can rank this bastard. Yeah. So we rank these every week, as you probably well know by now. We have a 4-part composite. It's quality, guess, problematic, and the depth and breadth of lives ruined. Of course, those last two, the more problematic, the more lives are ruined, the higher the score. We do a 1 through 10 scale on each one of those to come up with kind of a ranking for where this fits into the series as a whole. We're eventually, hopefully, maybe if we can stand it, going to watch all 477 plus episodes of SVU by the time this is over. And we want to know where they rank.
And counting. Yeah. If the show never ends, we're never going to catch up.
Of course. Yeah, of course. And it's possible it never will. You know, it's possible it'll become a... Mm-hmm. I don't know who's taking over. Maybe Carisi.
I feel like it's already an institution, but yeah. Uh-huh.
So let's start with the quality. It's not the worst episode that we've seen. No. But it is close.
It's very close. I feel like my initial, just because I'm so irritated at having had to watch this episode, my initial inkling was a 1. Mm-hmm. I think it's probably a 2.
I don't know, man. We've handed out some 1s before.
Oh, I know. Like, I don't think this was quite as bad as Gone Baby Doe Gone, or as
Chasing Demons, or
as
Asunder.
Asunder is the one I was trying
to a 2, we gave a 2 to Choice. We're looking at this sandwich handling through pandemic eyes. And that kind of makes sense, I suppose. What else have we given a 2 to? We gave a 2 to the Jane Kasmerick episode about Suffolk County. Those are the only 2s we've handed out so far. So we gave a 1 to Haunted. Man, we should have given Haunted way more.
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. But
Haunted was episode 2, so I don't think we had the scale down.
Yeah.
Maybe 1.5 here.
A 1.5. I like 1.5 because I think it is worse than Choice.
I don't know that it's worse than the Jane Kasmerick one, but
yeah, there were some things that were fun about that.
1.5 is good.
That had some like lewd shit that was kind of funny. The guests, I don't know. I can't go very high on that because I don't think they were very good. Except for, I guess Shauna Dowdeswell was pretty good. Nobody else really had that much to do besides Harold Moore, and that was pretty rough.
He went really big, and it was bad.
Yeah.
2?
Yeah, I think it's a 2. I agree. We gave a 2 to that Allie Wentworth one that we recently watched, Melancholy Pursuit. Yeah, that's about right.
And why the fuck is she here episode?
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm editing right now.
Nice. So how problematic was this?
This is where it gets some points back.
It gets some points back. It has the, homoeroticism, the fact that they made us think about anal blood seepage when there was zero evidence of sexual assault.
From a teen.
Yeah, zero evidence.
There's a lot of sexualizing of minors going on here.
There sure is. There's
the prison rape taunt. I mean, there is a lot of the stuff that we think is fun.
Yeah,
the dumb bottle recycling economic rant.
Exactly. Which we didn't really discuss because I didn't take detailed notes about it that part of the episode.
Like, are we really supposed to make that make sense? I don't feel like that's our job.
If they want it to be our job, they need to put it in the first third of the episode,
Yeah. If they don't put it before the midpoint act break, we're not gonna do that deep dive, especially when the episode's this bad.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's at least a 4, right?
Yeah, it's at least a 4. I mean, I'm. Can we go higher than that? I mean,
we could. I don't want to.
I think it gets a 5 because I'm looking. Okay. So we gave the Glasgowman's Wrath a 4. What was problematic about that episode was how they treated crazy mental health and homelessness. Yeah. And this has that, plus it also hypersexualizes minors.
Yeah, it does. So, I knew that this wasn't going to be an all-time low because it does kind of tick the boxes in the last half of our scoring. So, I'm fine with a 5.
And then the depth and breadth of lives ruined. Again, lots of people's. We've already discussed in Stabler's body count the lives ruined in this. Cabot.
Yeah, this is another,
Benson's,
and like one's an innocent minor.
Yeah.
Well, two really are innocent minors. Yeah, I mean,
Sam Baylor's getting prison raped, even though he's a perpetrator. Still, that's pretty fucked up. You know, the other girl, I forget her name. She's gonna live with the shame of what she did and what the results were.
We didn't even really talk about that, but the person, the friend.
The recantation witness.
Yes, the recant witness was like lying because she wanted to, because the popular guys were like giving her shit. Did they give her an iPod or something? Yeah, she's fucked too. I mean, I think this is probably like a 4, right? 4 or 5?
I think it's a 4. It's got to be 4 because, I don't know, it's not that fun. And again, fun kind of works into this too. Or it has to really be racking up the body count. I mean, a kid did die. A kid who was a main character's best friend.
Right. And
so, I don't know. Maybe it has to be more than that.
But, okay, let's just go 5 and leave it there.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. That gives us a 3.375, which puts it on the lower...
higher than I thought it would get, but
it kind of has to, because it's kind of bonkers, you know? Just, I mean, I remember that image of Stabler and Dickie hugging each other, because it's bad, but also insane, and so that's
cry hugging.
Yeah, it's kind of memorable in that way. So, in
I'll
some
go
ways,
through
I think
the old site, and if Katie did write about it, I'll throw that in the blog section.
I know we definitely included that image. I don't remember all the details of it, but yeah, the old site was fun. But yeah, I think, can we just call it there and get on to the next order of business? Somehow managed to talk for an hour about this one, and I was hoping to keep it under 45.
I am firing up the randomizer. We are going over to episode.lol, which was created by friend of the pod, Flet. So the tape is spinning. And it looks like we've got an episode from season 6. It is the 22nd episode of the season. So season 6, episode 22, called Parts. Judging from the picture there, I see Isaiah Whitlock Jr. So that is Clay Davis from The Wire. So that's cool. After the overview is, after a woman's head is found in a car junkyard, the detectives track it down to the black market. Okay. I guess we'll see what that means next time.
Yeah, we sure will. So until then, Munch My Benson, guys. We'll talk to you then.
How can I survive without redemption?